Hello there, Soldier Boy here. So this is Daily Race C. I was hoping to get this video uploaded a bit sooner. It's the first time I've had a chance to do it with everything that's going on. So I brought the car to allow me to do Daily Race C. I thought it was about 45,500 credits. Done this track previously with the slowest car in the world video. Managed to set a 2:21. Had a couple of practice laps. Wasn't the best lap in the world. But yeah, I know the track because of the slowest cars in the world, apart from the end part would have added it on, and this false start was a bit different for me. Not used to this. But got a better start than some. You'll see by the title of the video, tanking my safety rating. 3 races. There was more. This video could have gone on for a good couple of hours by the end of it. It was that bad. But yeah, this is my selection of best bits, I suppose you'd call it. Getting squeezed into the middle there. Dropping a few places down from my side and the penalty already. Being squeezed, there wasn't much I could do. I had nowhere really to go, to be fair. But yeah, 2 seconds straight away. For a bit of door banging. There's all carnage ahead of me. And penalties going around everywhere. I have just seen they've updated the algorithm for penalties. I haven't had a chance to test it out yet. I probably will get a chance tomorrow night when I do the Nations Cup. Another penalty there, although again, don't think that's really my fault. The other car slid into me and he banged me off the circuit there. Not much I could have done. Ali Mac, yeah, there's not much I could have done with that, just been knocked off the circuit. Now down into 17th and about to take my penalty. I get my own back on Ali Mac, yes, that was on purpose. Another 2-second penalty just to add to my woes. I might as well take it while I'm there. Yeah, it was definitely on purpose. I got a bit of road rage. I was, you know, he pushed me off the track, I got a bit fed up. Yeah, sure, I know I shouldn't do it. I can't condone doing it. I shouldn't have done it. I just couldn't help myself at the point. I had 4 seconds, another 2 seconds wasn't going to hurt, was it really? I was struggling a little bit for grip. I'm finding out in a few cars recently I'm struggling for grip. I don't know if that's because I'm on a controller and trying to get the buttons to actually not press all the way. I've got to get used to only depressing slightly. Whereas on pedals you can do that a lot easier. I think I'm getting the hang of it. But yeah, so coming to the end of lap 1, and I've climbed a couple of places mode on a lap, mainly because I pushed someone off the track. So I'm up to 15th. Taking the last corner and coming to the end of the lap. We are going to skip a couple of laps ahead now. So we're on lap 3, so we skipped 1 lap ahead. And we're coming towards the end of lap 3. Chasing down 14th, so I've managed to catch him up. I've done really well. I've managed to get a few second gap over the cars behind, including the player that I pushed off the track. And I am catching. That lap as well, I matched, near enough matched my best qualifying time. So I'm on it. I'm really pushing at this point. Tried to do it with the braking, couldn't quite turn the car and into the gravel. And all that ground I've made up, just lost. Yeah, wasn't happy with myself. Really disappointed. And here's the Pierreville. So I've now dropped down another place. I'm pretty sure it's not the player that I smashed off. That's someone else. Ali Mac, wasn't it? So yeah, Pierreville overtakes me and I'm now down into 15th. No, sorry, I'm down into 16th. He's now 15th. But pushing myself, trying to catch him. Hoping he makes mistakes, really. I do like this track. This track is quite good. I do like it. I'd kind of like to do faster cars a bit, to be fair. It was interesting having to buy a car specifically for this race. It wasn't massively expensive, but I think that does put a few people off. If you haven't got the spare credits or saving for a specific car, it would put people off doing this race. And it is, as you'll see with the other races, just a penalty fest. But as my safety rating was tanking, it was only going to get worse. Some of them, as you've seen already, I don't think I fully deserve the penalties, but I could be wrong, to be fair. Yeah, there's a few corners on this back section that I probably could be faster on, to be fair. I felt like I did better laps, like cleaner laps, when I was in the slowest car in the world. If you haven't watched that video, give it a look. It is, I thought, quite a good video, my first ever win in it. But as we come to the end of the lap, we're still in 16th. A couple of second gap for the car behind, but we're now falling back from the car in 15th, which is a shame, really. And we're only halfway through the race at this point, lap 4 of 8. But we can see the two cars there, but we are dropping. And as we cross the finish line, we're skipping ahead to the last lap. The penultimate lap, sorry, not the last lap. We've gained a position. Pierreville went off the track, and then we've been overtaken by Ali Mack, who's gone very, very wide. So this is the guy that knocked me off the track, and I kind of did my road rage impression and pushed him off the track as well. So there's a bit of history between us. I've taken him because he overdid it on the corner. So just aiming to keep it clean now. Times aren't brilliant. Lap 3 was still my fastest, which matched my qualifying time. But just trying to keep it clean and tidy more than anything else. Trying to keep him behind me. Knowing what's happened previously as well, a little bit wary. Here he is coming up close as well. Yeah, very wary of him as he tries to go on the inside. Just managing to defend. He does seem to be playing it a bit more carefully now, rather than the first lap or two. But he's trying. You see him out on the radar. He's out on the left of the track. And then we are braking for the corner, and he goes to the dive bomb. Managed to hold it under braking. Goes a little bit wide. I take him on the inside. Just nudged the front of his car there. I just couldn't bring the car any further round. Didn't get a penalty. Impressed I didn't get a penalty, to be fair. So I hold on to 14th, but he is just behind me. And here he is again, diving into the corner. Gives me a little nudge there on the back end. Managed to hold it together. Still no penalties, which is a bonus at this point. And he's still there. He has got a tendency to dive bomb, as we've seen. So very, very wary of him. Took this corner completely wrong. Just couldn't get the car to turn. And there he is past me. Ali Mack is now past. Big gap to the car behind in 16th. But I lost the position due to my own fault. I was concentrating on where he was and what he was doing rather than what I was doing, and yeah, that's messed me up massively. So back down into 15th now. And again, pushing too hard, trying to catch him. Annoyed with myself for the mistakes I'm making, to be fair. I'm going to completely mess the corner up. And then we're heading towards the end of the lap. Just checking fuel. I don't know why I was checking fuel. Changing my brake bias. Didn't really matter. And then end of the lap, end of the race. We didn't even make it to the checkered flag, to be fair. But we finished in 15th. And at that point, my safety rating was tanked. That was, yeah, that wasn't good. So now, so it was an S. Before these races, my safety rating was S. And currently, it is still S. I don't know how. And I managed to improve my qualifying time to a 2:20, so nearly a second better. So at this point, although I've lost lots of points in my safety rating, I was still S. Still pretty happy. And I did a false start. I missed it. And then I weren't sure what to do. I didn't want to go off too quickly because I didn't know what would happen if I did. So I didn't. And then I got to slow down. So all that good work of qualifying to get me further up the order and now we're pushed all the way back in the 16th. And a little pushing and shoving going on already. I'm knocked from behind there. I don't know why I slowed down so much, but car's off track. 15th has now got a penalty. We're down to 16th. A 3-second penalty for 15th. I'm hoping that was for the nudge to me. That would be nice. It's unlikely because it normally goes to the driver that you push, but you know, hopefully that has changed and we'll find out hopefully tomorrow. Another car off the track there, so we've moved up position to 15th, and there's more penalties now. 4-second penalty. I'm assuming that's for pushing the car off the track. Ghosted car ahead, and then the penalties. And I just didn't brake. Did not brake enough. And there's my 1-second penalty. This isn't too bad considering the size of the penalties around me. 13th, 12th, 11th all have penalties. Hopefully all more than me, and you know, we'll gain a few. Yeah, I didn't mean to do it. That was completely accidental. But 13th goes off, so I've got past him, and he's got a bigger penalty than me. So I'm now up to 12th. So pretty happy with myself at this stage. You know, I've pulled some positions back after my false start. Overcooked the corner, but managed to just hold it on. And here we are hitting the penalty zone. Hoping they've got bigger penalties than me. And there's my 1 second up. They have got bigger penalties. But they're back too quickly. But it means that we're not massively far behind. Still within touching distance. Car off the track again. And we're now up to 12th. I think we started 9th, so not the best thing. Still down on where we started, but not too bad. And we've only done a 1-second penalty so far. We are still on the first lap. Number 11 goes very wide. Number 10 is off. And I just can't keep it together. And a spin. Which destroys my race at this point. So now down to 17th. Yeah, you spin. The chances of coming back are so small. Not last though. That's the guy that's in last who just give me a little kick up the butt. Just to help me on there. Always appreciated. Trying to hold it together into the final corner. Preferred that corner when it was tighter, to be fair. In the slowest cars in the world. That was a better corner before they added the extra one. So there are penalties ahead, so that will hopefully bring them back towards me. But we're currently in 17th. Of 17, so the car in 18th has dropped out. So now we're last. First corner, holding it together well. A few cars off there and a few penalties. Back up to 16th, so we're not last anymore. Bonus. And we set a best sector time. Second lap, always forgiven really. If you don't set a best sector time on your second lap, there's a problem. Especially in the first sector. So the 3 cars ahead of me have all got penalties. Of varying degrees by the looks of it. And 1 car's off track. So we're now up to 15th. We're clawing this back. And we started in 9th, but we are clawing this back. Slowly. And the penalties should be being served shortly. So they're not big penalties, but we're on the back of number 14. If we can just keep on him, slowing down into the corner, keeping it tight, and here comes the penalties, which will massively help. Always like to move away from ghosted cars. I do find if you don't and they reappear in front of you, it can cause a few issues. So got 2 there, but number 14 is coming back. We're still up to 13th, and there he is again. And we got the penalty, a 1-second penalty for him hitting us. Not sure how that's fair. And the car in front now gets the second penalty. There's my safety rating being dropped. And I don't know how, I don't quite know why, because I barely glanced him, but 5 seconds added on. Don't understand it in the slightest. And then another 2 seconds, and then we're being squeezed between 2 cars. Yeah, and a spin just to add to it. That is how you destroy a safety rating in 1 lap. You know, previously we had the first lap we got 1 second. Disagree with it, but probably, you know, could take it. And we're going to skip ahead to a couple of laps ahead now. So we're now on the 4th lap, halfway through the race. We're in 15th, 2 more cars have dropped out of the race, so we're now last place. We've served our 8 seconds. But we are gaining on the car in 14th. The fastest lap was the 3rd lap, 2:23. It's not good, considering my qualifiers are 2:20. In the previous race, my best was 2:21. So yeah, we've not had good laps. But the 3rd lap was my only clean lap so far. People leaving has helped. But we're 6 positions down the start. And number 14 has gone off. So we've gained a position. We're now not last. We're now in 14th. I'll take every minor victory I can at this point. I know I've done myself harm with my safety rating. But I will say, and I've watched it back a couple of times, I personally don't feel I did much wrong. The first penalty being touched on the back, not my fault. Being squeezed between 2 cars, there's not much I can do. Oh, I could have braked, but I kind of thought I was in the right position. I could be wrong. I'm sure people will tell me if I'm wrong. And I'm not really one to moan about the penalty system. There are issues, and I've read about them. Fastest lap there for lap 4, 2:21, previous best qualifying that I've now beaten. Yeah, I know there's issues with the penalty system, but number 13 going very slowly there. So now up to 13th. But yeah, there's no point moaning about it. We can't change it. That's the way the game is. So all you can do is try and get your safety rating as high as possible, although this is an S safety rating race, and just keep yourself clean and out of danger. And sometimes that may be not going for moves that you think you should go for, being a bit less aggressive, which is probably some of my issue at this point. I'm trying too hard to overtake in the wrong places and should just stay behind, come off the accelerator a little bit and just hold back until the slipstream comes into it on the straights. Take the advantage where I can. There are times you won't be able to avoid these penalties, but I think if I calm down, hopefully that will help me. So on lap 5 we're catching 12th place, or trying. I feel we are catching. Fastest sector, it's always good, and the safety rating went green, so that means it went up a little bit. Probably not enough to save me, but went up a little bit. And we're just trying to keep on him. Put some pressure on, hope he makes a mistake into one of the corners. There's enough corners here to make mistakes on. He took that a little bit wider than I did. And now there's a car ghosting and going slowly. And he's back in. Right at the wrong time there. I had nowhere to go. He was back in, and there's my second penalty. 1 second. He was ghosting. He was on the racing line whilst ghosting. The other car was going through him, and he reappeared and braked. I had nowhere to go. But there we go. That's another penalty. I think we're up to 10-second penalty so far in this race, which isn't good for any race. 10 seconds is a long time in penalties. And on to the 6th lap. We're still chasing down the car ahead. We're in 12th. We still did make the move on 13, so we're still in 12th place. Someone's in the pits, which is rather strange, unless he's got damage. Tyres are an issue, but there's no need to pit for them. And there we go. We go past 12th. We're now up to 11th. Only 2 places off a start position. Green safety rank. That's all I can hope for at this point, really. I'm a long way behind 10th. But after the start I had, the 8-second penalty, 11th isn't bad. I thought I'd be a lot lower. And we're just going to skip ahead now to the end of the race. And you can see the time on that. I'm not going to finish. I'm not going to see the checkered flag. I'm a corner behind. And there we go. We're finishing 11th. Which I can say, considering the 8-second penalty and a couple of 1 seconds, not unhappy, annoyed, but not unhappy. So we go into the final race that I've got for you. We've upgraded our qualifying time to 2:19, but you may have seen our safety rating has now dropped to a B. That 8 seconds and the 2 1 seconds combined with my false start dropped me from an S to a B. That's a long way to drop. Better start, didn't false start this time, kind of figured it out. But straight away, I had nowhere to go. Not 100% sure what happened. Cars just were there and no one, and they didn't move, and yeah, that caused a few issues. So that's dropped me right back. I didn't start well. I didn't have a best qualifying start, even with my new time. But yes, I'm down in 17th out of 18. But there's a big group ahead. I know I can catch these guys. That's the thing. And at this point, I'm being a bit more careful. Trying to be. But this is where the change in safety rating, I have noticed a big difference in racing. S-Race weren't too bad. Squeezed myself in the middle of them two, or down the left hand side of those two. And there's a 5-second penalty for squeezing past them. They were all over the place. Well, that's a 5-second penalty. And lose a position as well. The race changes the lower your safety rating. You have to be a lot careful, and it's very difficult to pick yourself up and get yourself back up again. I'd read that previously, I'd seen videos of different people and they'd said the same thing, and that, now I'm seeing it, now I'm trying hard. If you'd watched my previous video for the Manufacturers Cup, that was while being B safety rating. And although it wasn't a bad race, I think I did really well. And everyone was fairly clean. It may have been because of the type of race it was. The daily races currently will be a different kettle of fish while my safety rating is low. But we're currently in 15th place. The car ahead manages to go through me while ghosting in my penalty. But we're still in his tail. Seen him take the corner a lot quicker than he did. Trying to keep the car tight into the corners, and then I struggled this corner a little bit trying to get the car around, as you might have seen from the other races. So we've lost 15th now, but we're still on the tails. We're okay, and I've got a penalty. Not entirely sure what for. Another 4-second penalty. I don't quite know what I did. I don't think there was a touch. But yeah, no, it's not 4. Sorry, I can't see it. It's 1. But I don't know. Maybe it was track limits. It didn't actually. Normally it says track limits, and it didn't. So at this point, trying to chase the cars ahead and just hoping to keep in touch with them. Really. Car in 14th goes wide onto the gravel. Now, if you go off the gravel on this, it slows you down massively. You're going to lose position and drop back. Got to stay out the gravel and the grass, to be fair. And this is only lap 2. I've already served a big penalty already. But keeping it tight, now in 14th. 17 cars remaining. Chasing down 13th. He's not keeping it very tight, I noticed. But if we can keep up with him, we've still got a chance. Coming up to the corner before the penalty box. We've got a bit of a lead on the car behind, so we should, even with penalty, keep our position. That's the aim anyway. Just hold it into the corner. A bit wider than I'd like to take it. I like to be a bit tighter. Don't know if that's the fastest line, but I like to be tighter around there. And it was a 4-second. I did read it right the first time. Don't know what's going on. I can't see what it's saying. But because it was 4 seconds, we lose 2 places there. We're now down into 16th place. But we are still within touching distance. And remember, safety rating's already a B. I know it can get a lot worse. And these penalties definitely aren't helping. But we'll keep going. We're trying. You know, I got it up to an S fairly easily. I'm just going to now try and get back up there again. It's just not an ideal situation to be in. Final corner coming up of the lap. This is the end of lap 2. And we're still within touching distance. 16 cars in the race and we're now 15th. But we know at this safety rating level there will be issues ahead. There will be penalties. There's always that chance of catching. That's the only hope you can hold on to. And there is fighting going on ahead. Just managing to keep on the track there. I thought I did took that corner really well. And I think I'm gaining it. It feels like I'm gaining. Little green safety rating there. That was a blessing at this point. I don't think it's going to matter too much with what's happened already in this race. So we're definitely gaining on the group ahead. But the acceleration on this car, not the best in the world. In a straight line, it's got a little bit of zip, but yeah, it leaves a lot to be desired. You may notice I moved my traction control up to 3. I just found the corners were I was too sliding. I found that for a few cars recently. I think it is me. I think it is how I am on the controller. That I've got to not fully accelerate, fully depress the button all the time. It should be gentle. And the same as the braking. I think I'm a bit full in, full out. And I need to change that. That's a habit I've got to get out of. I know obviously automatic is going to be slower than manual as well. But I just can't do gears on a controller. I've never been able to. So I'll stick with that. Like I say, I've had a couple of victories, only 2, but I'll take them on a controller, so it can be done. You do have to get some luck, admittedly. So there's a penalty ahead as well as we hit the final few corners for the other Great British driver, but that will hopefully springboard us up a little bit. And he's pushed the other car off the track. So it's 2 places we've taken there. So we're now up to 13th. I think that was payback for the penalty he got. I don't think he felt he deserved the penalty. So he thought he'd get his own back. Which we've all done at some point, including myself. Watch the first race again and you'll see. Yeah, it's not something I agree with, but I know everyone has these moments of road rage. Keeping it tight to the first corner. Trying to chase down 12th. And trying to stay ahead of the 2 behind. I know they're going to come back. I think they've both got penalties at this point. We're only on lap 4, but I think they've both got penalties, which will help me. Because they should drop off. Keeping the corners nice and tight. I don't feel like I'm catching 12th place. I'm trying, I'm pushing hard. I just don't feel like I'm getting anywhere. But then a lot of it's relying on them to make mistakes. If we're roughly the same level of skill, which is low, you know, I'm still a D rated. I know you need to win races to change that, and 2 wins isn't going to change that very quickly. Messing up that corner massively. I'm going to really stand on the brakes to keep the car on the track, which has allowed the car in 14th to come straight behind me, but he's got a 10-second penalty. So we don't have to worry about him. He's gone. He is definitely gone. Yeah, when you're in the same skill of driving, it is very difficult to catch up sometimes. Unless you're all in different cars, it is very difficult. I find anyway. But I'll keep pushing. So coming up to the end of lap 4. A couple more corners to go. We're starting to lose pace with the car in 12th. We've got a little bit of a gap to the car in 14th. Once we finish this lap, we're going to skip to the end of the race, as basically nothing happened for 4 laps. I tried and tried. Someone else dropped out of the race, which took me up to 11th, to be fair. That's the only thing that really happened. Coming off the track though for the last corner, got a decent lead over the car behind. So 11th place finish there. Yeah, I have got the Daily Race B video to upload. I'll try and do that tomorrow morning. And then we've got the Nations Cup tomorrow night, which I'll hopefully do. Get it online. Hope you enjoy watching. Thank you again. Bye bye.